Well, thousands of fed-up farmers and volunteer firefighters have brought Melbourne's CBD to a standstill today as they rallied against Victoria's controversial emergency services levy. They travelled in convoy, blockading Parliament with fire trucks on the state government's budget day, claiming the tax on ratepayers will push rural communities to the wall. The levy is set to take effect July 1st.
It's huge impact on us. The cost is going to be massive, not to mention this year is the driest year on record. We're in a massive drought. It couldn't have come at a worse time.
Well, Victorian farmer Rob Armstrong was at the protest. He's with us now to talk about it. Rob, you don't often see these sorts of scenes from farmers. How angry are they right now?
Well, I actually think we're probably past angry.
Right.
We're just to the stage we're just hurting that much that we're past angry. And it's really hard to imagine that when you're in a drought that's looking like it's going to break 1914 records, that we're trying to keep everything alive, we're trying to keep all our stock alive, and it looks like we're going to get belted with a ridiculous tax on a tax that we're already paying.
I mean, you're a sixth-generation farmer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You probably want to be back on your land rather than sitting in the big smoke on this desk.
The last 6 months has been a fair slog. And it'd be so much nicer not to be here fighting this. But unfortunately, we haven't got a choice because we're actually not going to survive these taxes. It's getting to the stage where the farmer actually will not survive these taxes.
What sort of government picks a fight with farmers?
Well, usually they think that's a really easy target because 0.089 of 1% is the population of farmers in Australia. So we don't even hit the 1% mark. So when it comes to elections and everything, we don't count because they get in regardless of whether we vote or not. So they can actually just do what they like because we're so irrelevant. But unfortunately, I think today has shown they've actually woken up something that they've never seen happen before. Farmers are united as one. And when farmers are united as one, they are the most powerful body in Australia. Farmers produce 100% of the food. If we all say, sorry mate, we're going to have a week off, not going to produce any food anymore, well, the supermarket shelves will go empty. And they'll realise toilet paper wasn't actually that important.
The Victorian Premier says this levy is the rate that emergency services has asked for. They're saying if they don't raise this money via the levy, where else will they get the money from? What do you say to that?
Well, do you know what? It's not my problem. We've already paid for it. All the things she's asking for in the 8 different bodies the money's got to go into, we've all sitting here, every person here has already paid for this in consolidated revenue. So now it's another tax on top of a tax that we've already paid for. The fire levies, it was fairly reasonable what we were paid to run the emergency service and everything. But it's actually got out of hand how it's run, and they're just wasting so much money that it's just actually hard to imagine how you could waste so much money. If they used the money wisely, we wouldn't need this. We'd be doing a really good job with what it was.
So their argument is that it's getting more expensive because of natural disasters. You mentioned drought, but there's, fire, that means floods as well, and so on. They say every dollar raised by this will go to emergency services and that the CFA, they use CFA information to identify who would get the new trucks or whatever. Do you think that's a reasonable approach for the government to take? Why not?
Well, for bushfires, for example, rural bushfires, nearly all bushfires in rural Victoria are not put out by CFA. They're put out by farmers in their own private units. There is one CFA truck to 45 private units. And those private units carry nearly twice as much water as a CFA truck. We put the fires out. They come along later on and not being disrespectful to the CFA because they've got to get people to man those trucks. But usually in country Victoria, nearly all those trucks are manned by farmers as well. So they're either in the fire truck or they're on their own units protecting all people's assets, protecting people's lives. And we just do it all the time. We never think about it. We never think about our risk because that's what you do. You're in the bush. You help everyone. And so if someone came to the Langy Logan fire shed and said, I'll give you 20 new trucks, we had a big bushfire, there'd be 20 new trucks still sitting there and they'd never have left the shed.
Right, because that's not the problem.
Because it's not the problem.
Yeah.
And there's no one to operate them.
Yeah. There's no denying your passion and just how much it means to you, Rob. We can see that from sitting so close to you.
Well, Victoria's... this is going to send Victoria bankrupt, what this levy will do. Every rural council in Victoria will be bankrupt within 2 years if this levy goes ahead and we have to pay the levy. Yeah. It is that serious.
Rob, thanks.
Sorry.
No, don't apologise at all. We're unfortunately out of time. I'd love to keep chatting.
Sorry.
Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Love our farmers. You are watching The Project. Back after this.